His front office just doesn't miss as they make another signing, bringing in Golden State Warriors and Detroit Pistons guard Lindy Waters III to San Antonio. There are some details about Lindy Waters that make this not only a good basketball move, but a fantastic feel-good story. We have to dive into what he brings to the San Antonio Spurs, how this works very well with the core they have right now, and even in conjunction with the David Jones Garcia signing yesterday, plus how it makes another move even more likely in the future. All of that, plus a CBS Sports article that outlines just how good our front office has been. Oh, the front office, they just don't miss this offseason. We're breaking it all down on this episode of Spurs Digest. But hey, before we get into the video, guys, I just want to let you know we are so close to 10,000 subscribers. You guys have been amazing. You've been supporting us every single day. And guess what? We're not stopping the content. Hit that free subscribe button down below if you're part of the 70% that hasn't yet. And we're going to get into this video, and oh boy, I'm excited to talk about Lindy Waters. Maybe some of you didn't like the signing. I'm seeing some people say like they didn't like it. Look, I got some good stuff. I'll at least make you feel good about the signing if you're one of those people, and that's fine if you are. But before we get into that, I wanted to get into this. Now, this is written by Sam Quinn. I've linked it down below. Please go check out the article. Fantastically written. It is awesome. And I suggest you look at the other teams. Maybe you have another team you're interested in, but I want to focus on the Spurs and where they rank in front office rankings. OKC on top, Lakers and Mavericks are low. New team falls behind Bulls at number 30. I won't say where any of the other places are because I suggest you go check out the original author, but I will show you the San Antonio Spurs. Number 3. Not too bad. OKC's number 1. Boston Celtics are number 2. Fair. I think they got what they needed to get out of, this luxury tax situation, getting rid of Porzingis and Drew and all this stuff. But San Antonio right there at number 3. We were 3 back in February, and we're staying right near the top with championship teams, the Celtics, the Thunder, and then it's the Spurs. And I'm not going to read all this, but we've moved up in 3 consecutive lotteries. They say, look, yes, it does take some luck to do what we did, but if San Antonio builds a long-term winner, as we expect, lottery luck will have been by far the single biggest factor. But the notion that the Spurs were or will be entirely built on lottery luck is a fallacy. The things they can control, they do so deftly. And I think that's such a fantastic point. When you look at the moves this roster has made, yeah, obviously getting Stephon Castle, Victor Wembanyama, and Dylan Harper in 3 straight drafts is insane, right? Teams they pray for times like this. Most teams have never even sniffed anything near that, right? Let alone Wemby himself. But the moves that we've made in between, like, luck is luck. It's about building the team outside of that. And while, yes, the success comes from the luckiness that we got, again, getting Wemby, Castle, Harper, whatever, these little moves in between, this De'Aaron Fox trade where we gave up nothing of super significant value. Like, I don't mean to diminish the value of the picks and the players that we gave up in these deals. Like, Tre Jones was gone and Zach Collins and whatever. But still, we landed De'Aaron Fox, an all-star. We signed Chris Paul last year. He was great this year. Now going back to the LA Clippers. This offseason, we trade for Kelly Olynyk for Blake Wesley and Malachi Branham, and it's like, and a pick. It's like, okay, that works really well. We signed Luke Cornett on a very team-friendly deal. We just signed David Jones Garcia. We're making so many of the right moves. We pass on Kevin Durant in what would have cost us a lot of money. Like, just looking at the front office, well, I know Mitch is the coach, but still, this picture here, I just like looking at it, right? The Spurs front office has always been so good. The moves have always made sense, and that trend is just continuing. 3rd in the NBA behind only the Thunder and the Celtics. That is pretty high praise, and I think people around the league would tend to agree that San Antonio just doesn't miss very often, and that's what makes them such a great front office, and that plays right into what we're about to discuss, and that's Lindy Waters. Now, I've seen some people complain because he's another like kind of guard, kind of like wing, and we needed a big. Hold your horses, and I want to dive into that a little bit later as well, because I don't think it's nearly as bad as some people are making it out to be. Also, this dude's going to be like at the end of the bench, basically. But Lindy Waters, he signed a 1-year contract with the San Antonio Spurs. Agents Shai Say and Winston Nelson of Clutch Sports. Oh man, I'm not doing very good with these agent names recently, but he shot 37% from 3 in his first 4 NBA seasons in OKC, Golden State, and Detroit. Now, I'll roll the highlights, and I know the first thought is, wow, another like guard. He's 6'6", but another guard on this team. Like, we have Jordan McLaughlin, who's like the 3rd string point guard already, and we just signed David Jones Garcia. David Jones Garcia is a 2-way. If he makes his mark in the NBA, hey, that's great. Lindy Waters has already done that, right? I know we're hyped about a summer league performance from David Jones Garcia. I don't think this is a hot take to say Lindy Waters is ahead of him in the depth chart right now, which is why I think Jones Garcia could spend some time in the G League and absolutely could get called up. But Lindy Waters has already kind of proven himself, right? He's a fantastic shooter. He gives some grit and some effort on defense as well. You can see a nice steal here leading to a nice Euro step finish there against the Pelicans. And I want to highlight this too about Lindy Waters. This is from Spurs Reporter. He was undrafted in 2020. He played semi-pro basketball. He worked side jobs like delivering DoorDash, mowing lawns, all while driving early mornings and late nights for games while chasing the NBA dream. Eventually, he got a shot with the Thunder and the Warriors. Now he's a Spur. So, like, again, that kind of work ethic, that drive, that love for the game is just something that has always been a theme in San Antonio, something that we've loved in prospects, in players we sign, in players we trade for. So I needed to highlight that from Lindy Waters on its own. But I also want to dive into his stats here. Like, I feel like people are sleeping on him. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to come in here and start. There's no chance. But in his first year in the NBA, in 25 games, he averaged 8 a game, which is pretty darn good. 36% from 3 on 6 attempts a game as a 24-year-old rookie who was undrafted 2 years before. That's pretty incredible. And this past year, in his only 14-game sample size with Detroit, because he was part of that huge trade, that Jimmy Butler, Wiggins, that big, like, insane trade. Anyway, he was sent to the Pistons in that deal. But 39.5% from 3 on 3 attempts a game, not to mention early last season, he hit this game winner, which again, we'll just roll this again. I mean, what a shot there from Lindy Waters. Crazy in that Hawaii game. I think it was like preseason. But also, with Golden State, a team that really has great coaching, great culture. Like, they're trying to get a lot out of their young guys. Their guys, like, no-name style guys, kind of come out and play very well. Lindy Waters was one of those guys to start this season. Look, his field goal percentage was not great to start the year for sure, 50 or 37%, 33% from 3, but he started 9 games. He played 38 games for them. And, like, again, the underlying shooting metrics are really there. And he brings some hustle, right? He's 6'6". He can shoot the ball when he needs to. Quick twitch release, as we saw in those clips. He can finish in traffic if he needs to. He's not going to light the world on fire. But as some backup guard depth, I don't mind it, right? Especially since we have the flexibility to send a guy like David Jones Garcia down to the G League, and we just kind of have this 6-guard rotation constantly going through the NBA. Now, I couldn't find whether this was a one-way or two-way deal yet. Maybe by the time this video goes out, you guys know. But this is like the part that I just love about it, right? But also, I think it indicates that something else is going to happen for the San Antonio Spurs. Because, yes, we got Lindy Waters, but what does that mean for the rest of the roster now? Because we now have one roster spot left. That's it. After the David Jones Garcia signing of Lindy Waters brings us to 14 out of 15 players, which means one of Harrison Ingram or Riley Minix is not going to get signed. And that's what I'm coming down to. I think Lindy Waters has but like taken Harrison Ingram's spot. I think Ingram is probably not going to get signed at this point. And based on what we saw from Riley Minix this summer, I think he had some decent defense. He was shooting the ball very well. He looked very good. And he's kind of a 4, right? He's more of a power forward. I think this means pretty much with certainty that Riley Minix is going to get signed. That's my take here. I think the Lindy Waters signing has that kind of implication as well, that Riley Minix is going to take this last roster spot, probably the last two-way spot on this team, and spend a lot of the year in the G League. That would be my guess. Because again, if we look at our front court rotation, our 4s and 5s, do we lack a lot of traditional centers? Sort of. We have Wemby, who can kind of do either the 4 or the 5, whatever you want to say. I'd say the 5. We have Wemby, we have Luke Cornett, and we have Kelly Olynyk. All 3 of them are capable of playing the 5. Now, in my depth chart, I had Kelly Olynyk at the 4, but I think now what I'm pretty certain of is that he will also play the 5. And there'll be that kind of rotation between the 3 of them on any given night. Cornett, Wemby, Olynyk. And then at the 4, your depth chart can look like Sochan, Harrison Barnes, and then Riley Minix. And I think that's what it's going to look like, right? You got those 3 at the 4, Sochan, Barnes, and Minix, or you could start Barnes, which is probably likely as well. Wemby, Cornett, Olynyk. And I think that's a perfect, nice 3 power forwards, 3 centers, and you got your small forwards there as well. Like, I think it just makes some sense. So, Lindy Waters, hey, I really, really like this move. I'm excited. I'm excited for the San Antonio Spurs coming up this season. You know, I think that's an understatement. To see what Wemby can do, to see Lindy Waters maybe get another chance, just such a good feel-good story. David Jones Garcia brought onto this team. I want to see how Kelly Olynyk and Luke Cornett play. The front office just don't miss. Like, it feels like every move makes sense. Looking at how this roster is constructed, it just makes sense, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. Leave your thoughts on all this stuff down below, because that'll do it for this episode of Spurs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for tuning in every single day. And hey, if you haven't hit that button yet, you made it almost 10 minutes into this video, hit that free subscribe button. Guys, we're almost at 10K. It'd mean the world to us. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Josh Gosse, and I'll catch you in the next one.